An apology can include the words, "I'm sorry," and still fail completely. The injured person may feel unheard, the conflict may repeat, and the apology may become another argument. That happens because a real apology is not just a sentence. It is a repair attempt. Apologies fail when they protect the person apologizing more than they repair the harm. If the apology is designed to end discomfort, avoid consequences, or look like the good person again, the injured person can usually feel it. One failed apology begins with, "I'm sorry you feel that way." That sentence may sound polite, but it often shifts attention away from the action. The problem becomes the other person's feeling, not the behavior that caused pain. That sentence often fails because it skips ownership. The hurt person hears that their reaction is being acknowledged, but the behavior that created the reaction remains untouched. Another weak apology includes, "But, I'm sorry, but I was stressed. I'm sorry, but you started it." The word "after" but often cancels the repair. Context can matter, but it should not erase responsibility. A strong apology names the specific behavior. "I should not have yelled. I broke the agreement. I dismissed you in front of your friends." Specificity matters because vague apologies make the injured person do the emotional work of explaining the harm again. Specificity also prevents escape. A person who says, "I am sorry for everything," may sound emotional, but the injured person still does not know whether the actual harm was understood. Apologies also fail when they demand immediate forgiveness. The person apologizing may want relief right away, but the hurt person may need time. Forgiveness cannot be treated like payment owed after the word "sorry" is delivered. A real apology includes impact. The person needs to understand how the behavior landed. "I see that it embarrassed you," or "I understand why you felt alone," shows that the apology is not only about ending the fight. Impact language should not be theatrical. It can be simple. "I see that I embarrassed you. I see that I left you alone with the problem. I see that my delay cost you trust." Defensiveness blocks repair. If every explanation becomes a courtroom argument, the injured person may stop trusting the apology. They are not looking for a perfect villain. They are looking for evidence that the harm was understood. The courtroom pattern is exhausting because it asks the hurt person to prove their pain beyond doubt. Repair asks a different question. What happened? What did it do? And what needs to change? Some apologies fail because they are too fast. The person says sorry before they understand what happened. Quick apologies can be useful for small mistakes, but serious harm often needs reflection before words are trusted. Other apologies fail because they are too dramatic. "I'm the worst person ever," can pull attention away from the injured person and force them to comfort the apologizer. Shame takes over the room and repair disappears. A repair apology has 4 parts. Name the action, acknowledge the impact, take responsibility, and describe what will change. The change matters because repeated apologies without changed behavior become noise. The 4 parts do not have to sound scripted. They can be plain and human. What matters is that the apology identifies the behavior, respects the impact, accepts responsibility, and points toward a different future. The change should be concrete. "I will communicate better" is weaker than "I will tell you before I make plans that affect both of us." Concrete change gives the injured person something observable. Concrete change also protects the apologizer from vague guilt. Instead of promising to be better in every way, they name the one behavior they will handle differently next time. Apologies fail in relationships when the same wound keeps reopening. If one partner apologizes for dismissing feelings but keeps doing it, the apology becomes evidence of the pattern, not repair of the pattern. Tone matters too. A flat or irritated apology can sound like compliance. The words may be correct, but the delivery says, "I am saying this so you stop being upset." People hear that difference. Delivery matters because apology is relational, not mechanical. The same words can feel healing when spoken with humility and hollow when spoken with impatience. The injured person also has a role, but not the role of making the apology comfortable. They can say what hurt, what they need, and whether the repair is enough. They do not have to accept a weak apology to keep the peace. A failed apology can sometimes be repaired. The person can come back and say, "I rushed that. I defended myself instead of listening. Let me try again." A second apology can matter if it is more honest than the first. Trying again can be powerful because it shows humility. The person admits that the first apology was incomplete instead of demanding credit for having said sorry once. In families, apologies often fail because old roles interfere. A parent may struggle to apologize to a child because authority feels threatened. A sibling may joke instead of admitting harm. Repair requires stepping outside the old role for a moment. At work, apologies fail when they avoid accountability. "Mistakes were made," hides the actor. A better apology says what happened, what impact it had, and what process will prevent it from happening again. The point of an apology is not to win moral credit. It is to repair trust where possible. Sometimes the other person may still need distance. A good apology respects that because repair is offered, not forced. An apology works best when the person apologizing is willing to be changed by the harm they caused. Without that willingness, sorry is just a sound. With it, sorry becomes the beginning of repair. Apologies also fail when the person apologizing tries to control the emotional timeline. They may say sorry on Monday and expect warmth by Tuesday. But the injured person may still be checking whether the apology represents real change or only temporary regret. The timeline example matters because repair is not controlled by the person who caused the hurt. The injured person's nervous system may need repeated evidence before the apology feels real. A good apology avoids making the injured person manage the apologizer's shame. Saying, "I am horrible," may sound remorseful, but it can force the hurt person to comfort the one who caused the harm. Repair stays focused on the impact. A useful repair question is, what would help rebuild trust from here? The answer might be space, changed behavior, a clearer boundary, a practical correction, or simply time. The apologizer does not get to decide alone what counts as repair. The strongest apology is remembered through behavior. People may forget the exact wording, but they remember whether the pattern changed. In that sense, the real apology continues after the conversation ends. The most reliable apology is the one the injured person can see later. When behavior changes after the conversation, the apology stops being a performance and becomes evidence. That is why the apology is only complete when the next similar moment is handled differently.